So, let's see. So stepping aside from this for a moment, one advantage of the system that we have, and let's face it, however much we might bitch and moan about the system, the federal system as it is, it offers us all great advantages, and it offers Vermonters advantages too. We have plentiful, cheap food. The supermarket shelves are always stocked. You can depend on it. And that's really about it. So the disadvantages are almost too numerous to list. And James Moroney mentioned many of them in his letter. The pollution of the environment, the terrible conditions. But one that he didn't mention was this system where we have 700,000, 600,000 acres and so few farmers is acutely vulnerable to looming fuel shortages. And there's no political will to take any action to do anything about it. Nor will market forces result in anybody doing anything about it to any significant degree. And this I see as being probably one of the largest problems we're facing as a people right now. Quoting from Robert Heinberg's article, 50 Million Farmers, he says, modern agriculture has been described as a method of using soil to turn petroleum and gas into food. Agriculture accounts for about 17% of the U.S. annual energy budget. It is the single largest consumer as compared to other industries. By comparison, the U.S. military and all of its operations uses less than half that amount. About 350 gallons of oil equivalents are required to feed each American each year, and every calorie of food produced requires, on average, 10 calories of fossil fuel inputs. This is a system profoundly vulnerable at every level to food shortages and skyrocketing prices. So this is where we are today. We have 170 acres for every primary operator in Vermont. How do we come back from that state to one where we are human-powered and self-reliant? The good news in all of this for the state of Vermont is that our current population of 620,000 and the fact that even if it's not in agriculture today, these 2 million acres, they still exist somewhere, even if they're part of a suburbanite's lawn. These are our commons, this is our heritage, and all it takes is the will for someone to get out a shovel and dig a row of potatoes where there was not one before. We have about 1 acre of good cropland and 2 acres of good pasture for every citizen in the country, or in the state. And this is probably the most favorable ratio of agricultural resources to population in the lower 48. And did you get the map, the settlement map?
I did not get a
Okay, that's all right. But I guess the point I wanted to make with it is that in Vermont, the agricultural resources around the state are pretty evenly distributed along with population. So it's not like we have a farming region that is underpopulated. In Vermont, good soils and the size of towns are pretty positively correlated. Most people in the state live in the Connecticut River Valley and the Champlain Valley, and these are where the good arable lands are that can support human habitation. So we can, theoretically, morph into a self-supporting food economy without massive relocation of people. People just need to make better use of the resources around them. So I'm running out of time here, but if we could go back to my pictures, just the cover page. These are some of the things that you can do. Some of the things that we're doing on our farm that produce positive energy flow. I'm creating, maybe not in massive quantities, but I'm creating more energy than I'm using. These are the kinds of skills we're making use of. Plowing with horses. We're growing rice in a rice paddy using hand tools. We're even venturing into transporting our goods to nearby markets by hand. It can't be accomplished without education and mentorship. And I don't really have time to go into the list of actions, problems and actions, but if we could just look through it quickly. Yeah, well, okay. Yeah, I'll just go do this one. The point that I want to make is that there are already things that people in this room can do to help with the chief obstacle, which I see is education. An education for a new generation of people who are very anxious about their food future and want to get into this field. I personally turn away 10 apprentice candidates for everyone that I accept. So there's a real logjam on the supply side of people wanting to get into this industry and wanting to make a change. So my strongest message to you is to, rather than for those of us in this room to try to solve these problems, to support the ongoing work of organizations like Rural Vermont and the newly reformed Draft Animal Power Network, which are already doing good work for sustainable land use in Vermont. And that's really about all the time I have to say. Thank you.
Hey. This info is going to be in your package anyway.